All right, so Kamp Koral. Let's get into Kamp Koral. I will say this about Kamp Koral. I have only watched one episode. So if you think this is a review of anything that is other than that episode, then you are wrong. I don't hate the theme song. I want to say that right off the bat. I know I was like, let's not be so hard on it. I think a lot of animation fans don't think about its target demographic, which is little kids. But it's sort of, when I was watching, I was like, but don't little kids already watch SpongeBob? So like, why would you need this though? Like, it just seems a little weird to me. And it also occurred to me, SpongeBob as a character is like an adult that acts like a little kid. So the whole point of having a little kid act like a little kid seems like you sort of lost the point, basically. I do think they found a way to recontextualize that character, and like, he's just a really fun, enthusiastic kid. And he doesn't seem like as out of it in comparison to the rest of them, and they found a good way to do that. But overall, this show sort of reminds me, and like I was saying for a long time, what I thought it would probably do is remind me of what the Muppet Babies reboot did. And I don't think the Muppet Babies reboot is great, but anytime I watch them, like, that's a decent, fine, good kid show. But like, I never think about it. It's sort of like, it's decent enough where like it doesn't offend you as a parent. The kids are mildly entertained, and then it's over. And I think that's the same thing with this. It was like fun. It had like the Patrick kind of delaying the jellyfish, because the first episode is about SpongeBob doing his first time he's going to catch a jellyfish and how excited he is and all that stuff. And Patrick keeps delaying that, and that joke was a little funny. But I just don't think like a little kid would pick this over watching regular SpongeBob. I think they'd pick this because it's on. But then it gets to the point of like, but if you have Paramount Plus and, you can like not watch this because there aren't time slots, what's sort of the use of it? And I didn't really get the point of it because it's like, it's an half-hour show. So it really hurts its length, because if it had been 10 minutes, like shorts like the SpongeBob show, I know they do longer ones, but for the most part, these 10, 11-minute things, I think it would have worked a lot better. But trying to do this longer sitcom thing didn't really work as well. It's really just trying to sitcom out SpongeBob, which doesn't work as well. It's not as funky and weird. I wasn't like disappointed. It's sort of just like, it just didn't really make a lot of sense to me when I was watching it. Like, why, as a viewer or as someone who watches stuff with little kids, like why a kid would want to watch this. And I couldn't really get behind that. I think they're like, I know kids like seeing characters as kids, and I think that could sort of work, but it's like SpongeBob in most kids' minds is a kid, and I just don't really... Oh, only the first episode is 20... Okay, the rest are 11. So maybe like this is a bad episode to start with, to be honest. Maybe they shouldn't be showing this one first. But it was also weird. I noticed the lore they set up in Sponge on the Run was not the same. Like, they bring up in Sponge on the Run that Mr. Krabs had a restaurant, a sandwich stand, and then it became SpongeBob like encouraged him, and then he made the Krusty Krab and stuff. In this, Mr. Krabs is a camp counselor, so like the lore is already bullshit. I didn't really like it that much. I had a hard time staying awake through it. But I think it's like a decent, fine kid show. A lot of that stuff is kind of garbage. So in terms of like in the low bar that is, this is like still meets the midpoint pretty pleasantly. It just doesn't go much beyond that. Finding out this was a 22 that's the other thing, is like I don't really care that much about it. Like I just think it's like sort of like whatever. If it was on somewhere, I'm sure we'd sort of watch it and put up with it, but that's sort of like as much as this can really be. I think, I didn't really want to take it down just for the sake of it, but now that I'm like confronted with it, I'm a little like, why did I even do this? And I think that's kind of the thing, is like unless you are, a family member or something makes you watch it, that's sort of like what this stuff is. And it kind of feels like SpongeBob without the artistry. And I don't know if we necessarily need that. And seeing like this brand stretch now with the Patrick show and this does, I guess I am a little more on the pessimistic side after having watched this, because I just don't see the use of it for the brand, and I don't see the use of it for the consumer or the viewer. I just see it as kind of like Muppet Babies, when that launched, added an extra element to it, did it differently. This to me just looks like subpar diet caffeine-free SpongeBob, and I don't know if I really need that in my life. I think I'd much rather, that stuff's also supposed to be cancerous for you anyway. So I think it's like, if you wanted SpongeBob to be an emptier, lighter experience that just washes through you, then that's fine. I think it's fine for kids after they get home and they need to relax or something, but I think even kids probably have a little bit better taste, even both in SpongeBob shows and in shows in general, than this, really.